that Vayu is my best imaginary friend, because we've been together since I was 29. That's when I first played him back in 2016. And now in 2022, I last played him in 2020. And over the course of these last 5-6 years, as I have evolved as a person, as a personality, as an actor, he has evolved as a character, so well, my journey so far has been like a bit of a roller coaster ride. Lots of ups, lots of downs. Sometimes learn a lot more out of my failures than from my successes. And if I could go back to 2012 when I first entered this industry, I don't think I would change anything, because it's taught me so much, and I also entered this business at a very interesting time where it was either television or films and some advertising. But 2016 onwards, the OTT space really opened up, and I think that's where I really started my second innings. So it's been a fascinating journey so far in the first decade of my career, and God willing, in the coming years and decades, there will be lots of more pleasant surprises in store. I've played a fairly wide array of characters, and I feel whether it's consciously or subconsciously, you end up giving a lot of yourself, a lot of your own personality, sometimes your own mannerisms to a character. But if I were to pick one, I would probably say Vayu from Inside Edge for a couple of reasons. Firstly, he's a city boy. He's obviously a cricketer. I love cricket in real life. That's a well-known fact. People ask me, did I start playing cricket or watching or enjoying following cricket because of the show? That's absolutely untrue. I've been an avid cricket buff since 1996, since I was just a little boy. And just his devil-may-care attitude, his never-say-die spirit, a lot of qualities that I think I too possess, which I think are also very important in a line of work such as mine. So I think it would definitely be Vayu Raghavan. Well, personally speaking, it's a dream come true for me to get to act as a cricketer. So you act and you play a cricketer, two things that I love the most in my life. Coming together for XL and Amazon and working with that brilliant star cast, with those amazing technicians, season after season, getting to create that, getting love from so many hundreds and thousands and millions of people, not just in Mumbai or in India, but all over the world. It has truly surpassed any possible expectation of mine, and I consider myself to be so privileged that they thought of me for that role. I sometimes joke with my friends that Vayu is my best imaginary friend, because we've been together since I was 29. That's when I first played him back in 2016. And now in 2022, I last played him in 2020. And over the course of these last 5-6 years, as I have evolved as a person, as a personality, as an actor, he has evolved as a character. So it's we almost have a very symbiotic relationship, and I find that to be extremely fascinating. It's one thing having a top-notch script or a good star cast or a terrific director, but you need to be backed with a good production house. I think that that goes absolutely without saying. And if I speak about XL, or I speak about Old Balaji, or even Juggernaut for that matter, these production houses just assist you in every way, where you just need to focus on the creative aspects. You're not really focusing on the logistics. They take a lot of pressure off your back. The way they mount the project, the way you are treated when you are on their set, the way you are projected to the media, to the audience eventually. So all these factors play a major role. Like I never have to worry about oh my god, I hope I get the right amount of exposure, or I hope that they do right by me, I hope my costume's on point, I hope my hair and makeup is on point. Every single thing is taken care of. The food is always wonderful. I'm a big foodie, so for me food is a very, very important part of my life. I tend to get rather grumpy when the food's not up to mark, especially when you're working long hours, so they really pamper you. And for me, XL in particular, because they were the first big production house that really backed me in the OTT space. Of course, I've worked with Eros in the past, but that was for a film. So I have a lot of gratitude to everybody at XL, to Farhan sir, to Ritesh sir, and most of all to my friend and my buddy and my mentor, Karan Anshuman. Yeah. You know, I think as an actor, you need to be extremely flexible. You know, there's a quote by Bruce Lee. He's like, be like water. When you're in a jar, you become a jar. When you're in a glass, you become a glass. When you're in a bowl, you become a bowl. So you have to be extremely fluid. But if you're asking me from an audience point of view, the kind of content that I like consuming, it would probably be on the darker side. Thrillers, I really enjoy adventure. I do like the occasional comedy, horror as well, action. So it's a mix of all of that. And I think, especially in the web space, you are able to marry different genres and subgenres depending on what that particular story or that particular episode is trying to convey. You know, so that's what makes it very fascinating. Case in point being Codem. For 90% of the duration of the show, first season onwards and second season, you thought that my character was a certain kind of personality. He was a breath of fresh air. He was the one who cracked a joke in the most serious, inopportune of situations or moments, and all of a sudden we took all of that and we turned it on its head and we gave you something completely different. You know, so you never know where that twist or that turn is coming and where the genre needs to flip. You know, you just need to be mindful of it, but at the same time you can't be overtly conscious, because then the way you act will change, and then that becomes a bit jarring for the audiences. You know, so it's a tightrope walk. Yeah. Well, I think both are easy to work with, as long as the people that you surround yourself with are good to work with. And by that I don't just mean your co-stars. I mean the various technicians, your DP, your director, the writers, your producers, everybody. You know, because we all have to come together. Filmmaking is a collaborative experience, be it on an OTT platform, be it for a web film, be it for a feature film. And I think if you are able to get access to the right kind of people, you could be making a short film tomorrow, even that will turn out well. It's only when the dynamic between people is not in sync, it's not synchronized, is where you may run into some choppy weather. You know, there are a lot of people I really look up to in life, but I don't want to take any one particular name. I try and imbibe qualities from different people's life experiences and what they may have been through. But I like to look within more than I like to look out. So I think I am my greatest inspiration. I keep telling myself, okay, this is where you are today in the year 2022. Where do you want to be 5 years from now? That's the guy you want to look up to. How do you become that guy you want to look up to? It's by putting in the hard yards consistently. You know, consistency is the key, not just working twice or thrice a week and then just taking it easy for 4 days a week. If you do it regularly, and if you put in that time, it could be with your friends, with your family, in your personal life, in your relationships, and of course at your place of work, only then will that manifest itself. You know, so many times as actors, we really go out there, bare our souls, we give it our all, and then sometimes those projects don't work out. And it's happened to me, and I've questioned myself, and I'm like, yeah, I gave it everything. There's nothing left for me to give. There's nothing I have left in my stomach to even express anymore. Why did it not work? And maybe a few months down the road, or sometimes few years down the road, you have your answers that you needed to fail now so that you succeed tomorrow. Because till you don't taste failure and you don't know how bad things can get, you will never actually value success. You know, and that's kind of been my trajectory. My first 3 releases, unfortunately or fortunately actually, did not work at the box office. People said I was done. People said I could only be the hero's brother or the heroine's friend or vice versa. No one gave me a chance. And then all of a sudden Inside Edge came along and changed everything. And that's only because I chose to work consistently. Of course, I gave myself a cutoff point. I said, okay, I'm going to try and do this till I'm about 30, 31. If it's not clicking, I'm going to go and maybe do something else in life, you know, a different profession. But I lucked out. So for all your aspiring actors out there, for all you people who are just starting out in life, all I got to say is that just put your head down, you know, keep your blinkers on. Don't see what's happening in someone else's life, because grass always seems greener on the other side. Focus on what you can. Focus on your process. Don't have too many expectations of what the eventual results will be. You focus on your process and the results will follow. Well, it's almost impossible to define my relationship with my mother in 3 words. It's because it's a relationship that has spanned over 35 years. I'm a single child. It's a very special equation that I share with her. She's been a friend to me when I needed one. She's been a parent to me. She's been a voice of reason in my life. She's been a good sounding board, and it always helps when you have someone from the same fraternity in your immediate family. And the reason for that is because as a relative newcomer, as opposed to someone who's done so many years of films and shows and television, I can always call upon her and ask her in a time of need. It could be something as trivial as, how do I perform in a certain scene? It could be something bigger. Hey, should I be doing this project or not? How do I deal with this person? How do I deal with this situation? So many times we have to combat so many different unforeseen events and things in our life, media included. So she's been extremely helpful to me in that regard, and so it's a very unique and special equation I share with her. Well, it's not functional at the moment. We've kind of put it into cold storage. I've never been to film school. I've never had any specific formal training as an actor. So when I was setting out, and at that point I was a bit in a bit of a flummox whether I should act or direct or write. So I'm like, hey, listen, I'm going to just become the jack of all trades, learn a little bit of everything, get my basics right, become technically strong. And that's why me and some like-minded friends who were also seeking to be actors or filmmakers or technicians decided to put together this little production house. So we've released a bunch of content, a bunch of short films and stuff on YouTube. And I just like the name. I think it's the name of a rock band, if I'm not mistaken, Pin Drop Violence. It was just a phase in my life where in my 20s I was a lot more chaotic by nature, a lot more rebellious by nature, and I think the name just kind of stuck because it has a nice ring to it. For a story that started at Aram Nagar Part 2 at Warsaw, where I had gone for my first audition, I did not even know the ramifications or the extent to which this would blow up in such a massive way. Of course, when we were shooting the show, back then it was called Power Play. It wasn't even called Inside Edge, and we all knew that we are doing something that could potentially be a game changer, but no one would have imagined that it would click and succeed to the extent that it did. And the funny thing is, we were all shooting for the second season. We were in Tbilisi, Georgia at the time. The entire cast and crew were there, and suddenly on our team WhatsApp group, we get a message from our costume head that, hey, listen, we've been nominated for the Emmy Awards. And everyone's like, come on, that's a joke, that can't be true. I mean, like, why are you pulling a fast one on us? That sounds outrageous. And then a lot more messages and calls started coming from back home, and we I remember I was standing with my director Akash Bhatia, and I told him, I'm like, bro, can you just pinch me right now? So he's like, why? I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe we actually got nominated for the freaking International Emmy Awards. So it was a really, really big deal, a very proud moment, and also being the first locally curated show to be nominated for an award as prestigious as that was great. Of course, we eventually lost out to Money Heist, and I think they're worthy winners. As you can see, it's a very, very successful show. But I mean, it was fantastic, and it couldn't have happened at a better time. It really spurred us on for the rest of the shoot. Yeah. So this is something that Ritvik and Jitendra Joshi and Suyash, our director, and Monisha, writer, all of us wanted to do, because so many people were putting out messages and different content on social media. This is right at the start, initial phases of COVID-19, where we were yet to kind of put a finger on what exactly this was and how bad it could possibly get. But we knew that it was a pretty precarious situation, So we're like, as content creators and as public personalities, if we can spread some information and spread some positivity and educate the audience as well as enlighten them and entertain them simultaneously, then that's a good thing. And since we could not actually shoot stuff because we were all locked up in our respective homes, we decided to have an animated version of it where we play these three characters, JoMoFo, So it's something that gained a lot of eyeballs and traction, and I keep telling the boys that we should actually continue doing it, because they're I think it has far-reaching effects. When you're doing a satire, when you're doing something like that, you don't have to focus just on COVID-19. There are a wide array of subjects and topics happening all over the world, all over our country right now, which I think need a voice and need to be spoken about. So you never know, I might just try and get the band back together, and you might just see some more JoMoFo episodes coming up. Well, professionally, I have a bunch of interesting stuff coming up. I think next I've got this Geo Studios produced show for Woot. I can't reveal the name as yet. We'll let the makers do that. I recently completed a film called Johnny Jumper with Vijay Raj, Brinjal Kalra, Zakir Hussain and Zarina Wahab. Very exciting. I played Johnny Jumper in that. It's always good to be back on the big screen, so looking forward to that. I've signed this other really big film which should release towards the end of the year. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to speak about it right now, but expect an announcement very, very soon. I have also completed a web series with KK Menon called Murshid, in which I play an inspector. I also play his son on that. It was a dream come true for me. I recently shot this interesting, very conversational short film with the great Gajraj Rao. I just saw it recently, so I'm extremely kicked about that. We might be sending that for international film festivals. One of my other short films, Parchaya, just premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, so excited about that as well. I did this cute little web film called Let's Meet. It's about a love story that is set during lockdown between this boy and girl. Very unlike anything I've done so far, so looking forward to that. So just trying to do a bunch of different work. A lot of people ask me what's happening with the second season of Cartel. Yes, I can say now that it is happening. I don't know the timeline, but it will definitely happen. Also have a few other things in the pipeline, but we'll speak about it when the ball's rolling. So yeah, and coming to my personal life, I mean, there's a reason why it's called personal, so I'd like to keep that part of my life personal.